Well, hello, hello, hello. And we are happy to be back. We took 1 week off and it felt like an eternity had happened.
Eternity is right. Oh my goodness. It just throws off our life.
1 week off, and we're like, what do we do? How do we do the show? I don't even know what we're doing. Like, how does this work? You know, it feels like a month has gone by, and it's literally 1 week. We took the Memorial Day holiday off here in the United States for any of our international listeners out there. And yes, it feels like an eternity. But we are back with a brand new episode of the Chris and Amanda Show. If this is your first time listening, welcome to the show. My name is Chris Vaglio. I am one of your hosts, and my awesome sunny host, Amanda Sharp. Welcome back.
Welcome back. And man, if someone's listening for the first time, what a treat we have for you today.
Oh yes. Oh yes. So well, typically, if once again, if you're a first time listener to the show, we will explain how the show normally works. But today we are doing a very special episode of the show. But before we let everybody know, I mean, if you're watching this, you may see the description and be like, "Oh, I know what you guys are doing." No big
Mhm.
surprise. But if you don't, especially for those that are listening to this too and the whole replay thing. But before we say what we're doing today, Amanda Sharp, why don't you let everybody know how our show typically works?
How our show typically works: Chris sends me 3 songs, I send Chris 3 songs. We come from vastly different musical backgrounds, so those 3 songs are usually sometimes new and we've never heard them. Sometimes we argue a little bit about it because it's a more common song that we've never really argued, though. Let's be real. Like, we've disagreed to agree or agreed to disagree.
We don't argue.
We don't argue. I'll say Chris Vaglio. That's about the extent of it. And we rate those songs on a sliding scale of 1 to 5 records, and 1 record being five
little
records.
little little cringy.
So cringy. We've yet to have a 1 record. But I take that back. I think I did do a 1 record. I
I
keep
think you
saying
did Kill
that.
Switch Engage a one record. That
Yes.
was our first episode. I think you did a
Yes.
one record.
Only because we basically took a walk down old memory lane to our very first episode that I realized I crushed that. But and it goes all the way up to 5 records, which
Right.
is, oh my gosh, this is a great song. It's going on a playlist and it's staying there and we're playing it over and over and over.
That is right. It will never leave our ears. We are so
Never.
happy to have heard that song
Yeah.
and be given the gift of that music.
It's a good
But
song.
yeah, but today,
Mm,
today we
today.
are suspending the rules of the game for today because we have a very special episode. In today's episode,
So
once again,
excited.
if you didn't see the promo card and read the description already, or can tell from the title of this episode, we are talking about the music of Stranger Things. Why? Well, because why not? And Amanda and I both love Stranger Things, and this is a music show where we talk about music. How could we not talk about the music of Stranger Things? 4 seasons of like unreal music that not only is the original score like that they make like incredible, but they get
Mhm.
so much licensing of all these like iconic songs from some from the era, like from the 80s, some like they've done like remixes that have been in the
Mhm.
2000s, some they go even further back, but man oh man, what an incredible playlist of songs that this show has created over 4 seasons. I can't even believe it's 4 seasons already. Like I remember when the show first started.
Oh my gosh. And each season's so different from the other.
Mhm.
So different. And that first season, I was hooked. I was like, Joyce Byers, I understand you. Baby Will, I'm coming for you too.
I know. I know. It really is an incredible show. And yes, don't worry, Chuck. We will not be giving any spoilers on this show. This is not about spoilers. We will keep all major plots and finales and all that under wraps. We promise not to spoil. This is not about spoiling the episodes or anything like that. This is literally talking about the music that is featured in the episodes, and we may make references to like what episode they came from and what season, But yeah, I'll put that right out there. We are not spoiling any episodes, especially if you're just watching the new season, which
Yeah,
as of this recording, when we're doing this show, dropped about a week ago, Memorial Day weekend. It dropped. So I
yeah.
actually just watched the finale last night. Like the because this season 4 is broken up into 2 parts. So
Mhm.
there's part 1, which is 7 episodes, and then part 2, which is coming out July 1st of 2022, is broken up is actually 2 episodes, but each episode is like a feature-length film.
It's
Like
I love it. I absolutely love the I will spoil it in the way of saying season 4 totally different than
yeah.
the other seasons, and I feel like they've really, like, upped the ante with it, and I'm really pleased with the direction it's going. I think it's fantastic. Well done, Duffy Brothers.
Yes, Duffer Brothers.
Duffer Brothers. I'm like Duffy. Duffy.
That's the other company. That's the other brothers that make,
Sorry.
stranger things. The Duffy Brothers.
So great. The Duffy
Um,
the Duffy sorry, Duffers.
Sorry, Duffers. But yes, I agree. This season so far has
Mhm,
been really good, much different, and the episodes themselves too
mhm.
longer. Like every episode is over an hour, like well over an hour. Some like even the finale I just watched was like an hour and 40 minutes long with the credits.
Mhm.
So, yeah, everybody strap in. If you haven't started season 4 left, yeah, make sure you leave some time,
Yeah,
because it's not as the episodes aren't as short as the ones from previous seasons. So
yeah.
they definitely took the time off in between shows, in between seasons, and they are giving you loads and loads of content. So
It was
kudos,
worth the wait.
definitely worth the wait. And so, with that being said, once again, this episode is about talking about some of the music from Stranger Things. And so, Amanda came to me with this idea. She's like, "Let's do a Stranger Things episode because we've been talking about. If you follow us on Instagram,
Mhm,
we were talking about the Kate Bush song,
mhm.
"Running Up a Hill," and that song is enjoying a huge resurgence due to appearing in Stranger Things 4, where once again, not giving any spoilers, but it actually it serves as a key plot device in
Stream.
extreme
Yeah.
in the season, and not just once, but multiple times. So
Mhm.
it's it's heavily featured, but really done in the right way. And it's a great song by Kate Bush, released in 1985, that has absolutely like shot up the charts. It's exposed Kate Bush to a whole new audience of like
Yeah.
younger people who would have never probably heard Kate Bush ever, and are now like discovering her music. And it truly is awesome. It just goes to speak to the power of, like, when you get certain music featured in a show like a Stranger Things, which I feel like the show was completely like written for our generation,
It
considering like the Duffer Brothers grew up in like our whole generation.
absolutely, and I think the power of that song and how it's utilized through season 4
Hmm.
really, 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 like, just hones in on why we're so passionate about our show,
Right.
because it's really important to us. Music has so many memories, and we just love the connections to it.
And
Uh,
Mark Ronick checking in with, okay, I'm ashamed to admit I've
admit
only seen season 1 of Stranger Things. Well, Mark, that's okay. No,
that's
nothing to be
okay.
ashamed about. At least you've seen season 1. But I say keep going, my friend. Keep
Keep
going.
going. Keep going. But in order.
Yes, you gotta watch them in order. It's a very chronological story, and you really can't just start at like
Yeah.
season 4 and work your way backwards.
Eh, and we all know I've admitted this several times on the show. I read the end of books first and I watch the end of movies usually
Right.
first too. I People really have a fit when I say that out loud. This is one of the few exceptions that I think you could do that. However, I just don't think you're going to understand the level, the importance of how it ends without the lead up to it. It's so great.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree 100%. And Mark Ronick, I did love it. Okay, I'm gonna dive back in with my wife. Perfect.
Please do. Please do. And speaking of Mark, I know. I'm sorry, Mark. Wait, what? I know. I admit that. And I'm just who I am.
You just who you are. I am what Popeye used to
I am
say.
what I am.
I am what I am.
Well, I mean, Mark is a very special contributor to our Stranger Things show today.
That's right.
Chris, did you want to go into why Mark is so special to us today?
Yes.
Every day,
Well,
right?
Mr. Mark Ronick and Ironic Media are our official show sponsor, and in fact, will be the official show sponsor for our next 4 episodes of the Chris and Amanda Show. So if you don't know who Mark Ronick is, well, you're in for a treat because
You are.
now, if you're watching the video version of this, which I implore you to do, I am going to go over to Mark's website real quick, just so we have a visual aid as we talk about
Absolutely.
Mark and what he does. But in all honesty, though, Mark is an amazing podcast producer. Recently met Mark. I feel like recently. Everything seems recent. Like you and I recently met about a year ago.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
But Mark is a huge part of our podcasting community on Clubhouse that we've gotten really, really close and friendly with,
Yeah.
and has also become a great friend and consultant to our show, The Chris and
Yep.
Amanda Show. So if you are looking for that level of personalized one-on-one consultation when it comes to producing your podcast and just becoming overall a better podcaster, working on your show, from a marketing standpoint, from a creative standpoint, Mark Ronick is
There he
definitely who you
is.
want to talk to. There he is. I knew there was a picture of him
There's our
on his
Mark.
website.
I love it. And you may have noticed a little bit of a change on our social media, especially IG and TikTok,
Yeah,
where we had a consultation with Mark and he's kind of put us in the right direction of some fun changes. And you might have seen that with some of our reels. So thank you, Mark, for kind of guiding us. And I mean, really, it's just brought a whole new level of fun for us.
it
So,
absolutely has. It absolutely has. And what's great about Mark too is that he's just so down to earth and so personable and
mhm,
not you can call him a coach, you can call him a mentor, you can call him a guru, whatever you want to name him, but he is an expert at what he does, and he's got a really great way of sitting down and working with you and listening to you and coming up with really awesome solutions. So make sure you connect with Mark Ronick at Ironic Media. Head over to ironicmedia.com. Follow him on IG at Mark Ronick, and also on Clubhouse. If you're on
yes,
Clubhouse at Mark Ronick, make sure you support him. All the links are in our bio and also in the show notes and the video description below. And Mark also offers a free session.
mhm,
Right. So if you go over to his website or you head over to his IG and you click the link in his bio, you can sign up for a free session, give it a test drive, see how you like Mark, see if
mhm.
it's fit. And we highly urge you to at least give that a try, because I think that you will be pleasantly surprised how
Absolutely.
effective it will be.
Very much so. And we'll just plug Clubhouse one more time. He is on there every morning, 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah,
And Chris and I frequently frequent that room and hop on stage and help moderate. The conversation's great. And he's just very passionate about empowering a podcasting community. So, Empowered Podcasting Club on Clubhouse.
yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for your support. And if you are looking to sponsor an episode or an entire season of the Chris and Amanda Show, please
Sure.
get a hold of us. Just email us over at the Chris and Amanda Show at gmail.com. And once again, those links are in our show notes and our video description. Now, thank you, Mark Ronick and Ironic Media. We are now diving into the show, the Song of Stranger Things. Amanda Sharp, we have collected a list, and this, as we said at the top, this was a hard list to put together. Like,
So hard.
what did I say to you? I said it
So
was
hard.
like throwing darts at a
Yeah.
dartboard, because it's like literally almost every song that they put in this show is great. And then on top of it, where they place the song in the show, like all of a sudden brings a whole new life on to the
It's
song. Like, I can now only think of like those scenes when I
I
hear the songs.
1,000%. And I feel like we've mentioned it before on the show, how important song placement in any movie, any TV
Yep.
show is. And I truly believe the music of anything like that can be made like it can make
Yeah.
or break the film or a TV show success. So
Yes.
they are genius. I don't know who is the one placing the music in Stranger Things, but well done. And you don't need the Chris and Amanda show to tell you that, but
No,
we're going to. Well done.
no, you do not. You do not at all. But there is a lot of great articles on there. I was scanning before the show, some of the folks that had worked on, and even with this Kate Bush song and trying to get that is a fascinating story. Which I could throw the links in the show notes and all that, but definitely look that up because Kate Bush does not license her. She's notorious for not licensing her music, and they really did a lot to make sure that she understood where the song would be placed in the show and sent her screen and sent her some edits and detailed script notes. And it turns out though that she was a fan of the show already, so she was super happy about it. So it's a really cool story about, but it's just like a sliver of the amount of work that has to go into licensing songs. And for a show as big as Stranger Things, where music plays such a huge part in the show overall, and all the nostalgia and all that stuff, that like why we all love and watch the show, is like it is a monumental task. Let me tell you, it is
Mm,
not. So here's a lot of love going out to all the music licensing people out there who work their butts off to secure
yes,
these songs
yes.
that appear in our favorite shows, especially Stranger Things, where it is so important.
Absolutely, and I think it's no surprise that I love so many of these songs because it's so from the era that I choose to grab from on
Yes.
every single
Yeah,
show. So I was like, "Ooh, this," and then to bring it down to 3 though was really hard. So how are we
it
gonna do this?
was.
We gonna go in order of our favorite, or we're just gonna go in order of what's on our list?
Let's just go in the order with
Okay.
what's on our list, which is so incredibly hard. And by the way, for anybody who's watching live, feel free to play along. If you have favorite songs that have appeared in Stranger Things, let us know.
Yeah.
Right now, we'll bring it up on screen. We'll add it into our chat here, and of course, afterwards, if you want to let us know what your favorite Stranger Things songs are, you can actually give us a call at 97+1 973 506 8009. That's +1 973 506 8009. That's the Chris and Amanda Show hotline. And you can tell us what your favorite Stranger Things songs are, or if you were like, God, I can't believe you guys like that song. It sounds terrible. But whatever you want to do, leave us a message. We'd love to play it on the show. Amanda Sharp, what is one of the songs from your list? What is your number 3 song on your Stranger Things playlist?
In no other order than that it's that placement on our thing. I'm gonna come in hot with Islands in the Stream by Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers.
Yes,
Ooh.
yes, that is. I remember when that.
Oh,
Oh my god, what a great, like, that was such a that's a great pick.
thank you. That is that scene that without spoilers, I mean, we're gonna try and not spoil,
Yeah, once again, we're gonna try not to spoil things or
but
give away any major plot points.
yes, nothing that we share will, but there might be, again, some stuff. I mean, between Bob and Joyce, if you don't know who Bob is, you'll figure
Oh,
it out. And it's just so
oh,
cute. They are adorable. How the song was used was
yep,
adorable. The placement, just impeccable. And boy, do I just love that song.
yeah, and boy, do I loved Bob and Joyce's relationship. It was so great, and and for all you fans out there of the show, you know what we're talking about.
Yep.
But it was really great, and yeah, great song placement there, like perfect for those characters.
And to think that that song would have ever landed in Stranger Things just cracks me up because Stranger
I
Things,
know.
it's like Islands in the Stream, ending up in Freddy Krueger.
I, I know.
But it's so appropriate the way that they place it. It's so great. So it just made me super happy. So I knew right away that was going to be one of my favorite songs to put on my list, just because the usage of it was so cute, so perfect, and Joyce and Bob are adorable.
Yeah, it is a great part of Stranger Things storytelling, and once again, I love how they bring characters, especially when they bring some characters back from classic 80s films, like Sean Austin,
Yes,
who's of course was in Goonies, which everybody
wow.
like compares Stranger Things to say it's like are the newer version of Goonies and update. So they've drawn so much inspiration from a lot of those classic 80s films that we all grew up with and loved. And to have, Sean Austin from Goonies in Stranger Things was like
Yes,
an awesome like homage to all their influences.
I
And that's
agree.
also a fun part of Stranger Things is looking at all the things in the background when they go into the
Yes.
rooms, you see the posters and just all of it is just too much fun. It really is. That is a whole other part of the show that like you get way into is looking like, oh my god, look how much like time they put into like the
Oh,
sets and like the little things. I'm like, I used to have that and I had that, and it's like
it's
great.
true. Just even, like, grocery store scenes that
Yeah,
they actually have the true packaging essentially from that era. It's just
yeah,
every detail is just perfect and they nail it. So,
yep.
you can see how much we love Stranger Things.
Yes, I think so. I think so. So my pick here, my number 3 pick, which I had to go with this one just because it's a great song. God, there's so many good songs. So once again, I,
Sure,
I said it felt like I was throwing darts at a dartboard and be like,
sure.
here's all the songs. Boom. Oh, yes, I like that song. So, but I don't think this is gonna be a shocker for anybody that listens to the show. So I mean it's sort of a shoe-in for me. But it is great time because this song takes place in the time when this episode takes place. So that would be "Shout at the Devil" by Motley Crue. And this song happens on season 2. Actually, sorry, I take that back. Season 1, episode 2, which is the second episode, Trick or Treat Freak. And this is when Billy comes into the party and he's labeled like the king of the kegs or whatever like that, or keg
Yes.
king. Yeah, Steve tries to get Nancy to take it easy on her drinking. Billy's cheered for becoming the new keg king. It's at the keg king at the Halloween party. So this is in episode 2 of season 1, and
Season 3.
I just it's such a great like the riff on this song is fantastic. It pretty much works. It's like the perfect like, hey, I'm at a party song.
Yeah.
And it was released in the early 80s, I think 82, which is like I think right when this episode takes place. So it totally makes sense for that song to appear at a party.
Yeah.
Shout at the Devil, Stranger Things by Motley Crue. Awesome placement. It is a great rocking song, and I had to put it on. It was like, why not? It's Motley Crue.
Incidentally, that's the same episode that my Islands in the Stream would have came from. Season 3, episode 2.
No, this is well, yeah, yes, episode 2. This is season 1.
No, if Billy's in it, it's season 3.
Oh, well, it's just oh, maybe I got it wrong then. Yeah, you're right. You're right. If Billy's in it. No, you're right. You're right. It's season 2. Anyway, you could correct this. Anyway, it's Motley Crue. Shout out the devil.
There's so many episodes.
There's so many episodes.
Super great song. Super great song. Perfect for that scene.
Yep.
Nancy and yeah. Oh, wait, season 2. I said season 3. Season 2. Our seasons are all screwed up. We're just overwhelmed by season 4.
I know. See so much season 4 in the brain.
Season 4 has us shook a little bit.
I know. I know.
All right. My next song, no particular order. You Don't Mess Around with Jim
Are you kidding me?
by Jim Croce.
Are
Is this
you
on your list?
Are you kidding me? That's my number 2. I listen, guys. I swear to God, Amanda and I do not. We absolutely positively do not share our list with each other when we do these types of shows. We literally just we don't do any of that at all. But
That is
every
amazing.
now and then something like this happens because her and I are on the same wavelength a lot. As much as we go have opposites, there are certain things we're on the same wavelength with, and I guarantee that the reason why you like this song is the same reason why I like this song in in the show. And so go ahead. It's literally I can show you my notes. It's
I
my number 2.
I love this. I love this. I love the scene that leads up
Yes.
to this song. And it's so great. It's with Hopper, and I mean,
So
he
bad.
just gets in the car and plays this song, and he just takes off and is driving like a boss because
Yeah.
mission accomplished for Hopper. And it just was so great. And I do enjoy this song a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a great scene when this happens because he it actually appears twice in the
Yes.
series. So the first time you see is in season 2, episode 3, the Polywog, and then season 3, episode 2, the Mallrats. And it really becomes like his theme song for the in the
Mhm.
show, which is fantastic. And I love that car scene because he's like rocking out. He's so like happy and proud of himself, and he's singing along and don't mess with Jim. Like, and it's so great. And then the first time it happens, it's when he's And our when he does that dance, he does
The
that little
dance,
like dance thing. It's just so
where we
great.
won't say with who because that's a little bit of a spoiler, but
Right.
yeah, it's he's such an awkward character that's such a strong character though. It's
Oh man.
so interesting.
Yeah. And on top of it, it's Jim
Mhm.
Croce, which you and I both really love Jim Croce.
Absolutely. He has made an appearance on our show before. Just fabulous artist.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we absolutely I cannot believe this is both on our list.
That's the only problem when we don't share our list. This can
Yeah.
happen. But I love that this is how it works out though. It's so much fun.
Well, out of all the songs that are on Stranger Things, the different songs that they've had, it's like, by the way, there are,
Oh,
I think over the span of the series, there's over 536 songs.
I believe it. And I landed on the Stranger Things official playlist, and it's 10 hours and 21 minutes long.
Yeah, so it completely makes sense. And where we have and I'm gonna put this link is the link I sent you. And I don't
Mhm.
know how obviously you can see there's probably some discrepancies with some of it,
Sure,
because
sure.
it's hard to go back, but there is it is a good list. I will put it in the show notes, and it's whatsong.com, and they actually have all the seasons of Stranger Things with the songs listed
Love
and
it.
give you a little blurb as to like where they appeared in the show. So whether I can't confirm the accuracy of it, but I'll tell you we were using this as a way to for prep for the show. But it is really cool to see it laid out like this because it also includes the scores as well, which the
Mhm.
score is
Oh,
phenomenal. You know, I
so good.
love the music of these two guys, and they've been doing it since day one. So it's Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein, and they were in an electronic band called Survive, and they're the ones that
That makes
make all that
sense.
like dark wave, synth wave kind of sound. Yep,
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh, so good.
that is them. And real quick about that, because I know everybody's always like a theme song, and I do not skip the opening when you go skip
No,
intro. I never
I
skip it
don't.
because I
Yes.
gotta hear that song with the
It
names and the title card
yes,
comes up. It's
yes.
awesome. I need it. Like I
The way
need to
the
see it.
title card, like,
Yeah.
zones in and
It's
pieces
like
together. It's part of the experience.
it is. So, a little bit of background about the theme song. So, the Duffer Brothers were first made aware of Dixon and Stein's music while watching the 2014 thriller film The Guest, which featured music produced and performed by their band Survive. While creating a mock trailer that was later used to sell the show to Netflix, the Duffers decided to use Survive's song Dirge to serve as a trailer soundtrack. Once the show was greenlit, the Duffers contacted Survive around July 2015 to ask if the group was still together and available to potentially score a season. In turn, Dixon and Stein provided the production team with dozens of unreleased songs from the band's past, which aided them in their bid for the job. The Duffers were ecstatic after listening to the material provided, and he implored the duo to quit their day jobs to produce music for the show full time. They obliged, and once they were aboard the production, the two worked with producers to select some of their older music to rework for the show while simultaneously developing new music, which was chiefly to serve as character motifs. The tracks produced by the duo were sent during the filming to the Duffers, who later labeled the demos as sketches due to Dixon and Stein's odd title choices, such as Jupiter 8 Spirit Winds, Soakers Forum 3, and Lighting Candles and Eggy Pizza were among the most unique batch. A sketch that was originally titled Prophecy was later developed into the show's theme. In all, just under 14 hours of music was produced for the show over the course of 1 year. Dixon and Stein had been hired before the casting process, so their motif demos were used and played over the actors' audition tapes, aiding during the casting selection.
What a fun story.
I know. Yeah, and that's coming from
Mm.
Wikipedia. So, take Wikipedia with but I have read a lot of same
Mhm.
similar stories on even like the Stranger Things wiki and all that. So it seems to be all very like in line.
It's so good. When I think about how different Stranger Things could have been if it was just made into a movie or
Yeah.
just made into, something different than what it did and how it landed on Netflix because I am a binge watcher.
Yes.
I love to binge, and if we had to wait, Chris Baglio, like, the way you used to have to wait to catch up on a show, like, every
Yeah.
week, oh, I don't think I could handle it.
No. I mean, and Stranger Things was like when it came out, like that first season, I don't think my wife Rachel and I think we binged that show faster than any show we ever binged. I mean, it was
Same.
like, what is this Stranger Things? This looks weird and cool. Like, I don't know. And then the first episode, I'm like, this is like
Amazing.
this show's made for me. Like, this has got everything I've ever wanted. This is everything I want. It's the best of all the stuff I grew up on in one
Yes.
show. In.
It's just
In.
it's brilliant. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. So
Yeah.
it couldn't have aligned better in how everything was, played out and rolled out. So just again, just continued props for
Continued
Stranger
props.
Things.
Yeah.
Well, I did my number 2 song. That happened to be your number 2 song. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you announce your 3rd and final song, and then I'll announce mine.
So once
And if
again,
it's
this
the
was
same, I'll laugh.
so hard. So hard.
Mhm.
And like, listen, the orders of these lists, I just want to
Fair.
say again, was like, it just was difficult to do and put together. But I wanted to at least have like a 1, 2, and 3, so for the
Yeah.
purposes of this discussion, because there's so many good songs. And one of the songs that I love how they used in the show and play so well, because I gotta be honest with you, when I've heard the version of this song before, it like didn't do much for me.
Okay.
But then hearing it with in the scenes, hearing it, in the show and
Mhm.
the scenes they use, and all of a sudden it took on a whole new life for me.
Oh god.
And I really I think I actually appreciated the performance then of this song so much more now,
Okay.
whether that's how it was intended, but I felt like that it just now it's synonymous with me. And that song is the cover version of Heroes by Peter Gabriel. And if you listen,
Okay.
it's the David Bowie classic song, which I love David Bowie's version of the song, and I've heard other people do great covers of this. But Peter Gabriel's version, and if anybody doesn't know who Peter Gabriel is, he was ages ago, like a billion years ago, the singer of Genesis, when Genesis was more of a prog rock band, and
Mhm,
then
mhm.
obviously they split, and Peter Gabriel went on to have massive success with a lot of hit songs. And he's done some really beautiful versions. And this version of Heroes, when I first heard it, like not before it was because it was done, I think in 2010, his version, it was like, okay. Like,
Mhm.
I get it. Like, it's a very quiet version, different, almost a rearrangement of it, but the basic melody is still there.
Sure.
But it was just, it didn't hit me. When it appeared in Stranger Things, not once, but twice, it appeared in season 1, episode 3, which is the Holly Jolly. And then it was in the best use of the song, which totally had me like, oh my god. Was the season 3 finale, episode 8, which was the Battle of Starcourt. And it was the end. And I'm not, once again, not giving any spoilers, but they used that version of Heroes
Mhm.
so well. And it was such a great bookend of how they used it when they use it in episode 3 to then how they use it in episode 8. And it sort of has the same meaning, but it
Mhm.
just feels good. And I love it. Now I really I love listening to this version of Heroes, because I can't help now but think of like those episodes, and it just has taken on a whole new meaning for me. And that's the thing too, is they do like, even like this season, they did a great version of Separate Ways. Like, it's kind of like a really cool remix
Mhm.
of Journey Separate Ways,
Yeah.
which was like, okay, alone, it's kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
but like when in the context of the show, oh my god, does it work? Like, it works so well. Like, it's a really cool like remix of that song, which, once again, I was like, but then you see it and you're like, this is great. So I feel the same way about this version of Peter Gabriel's Heroes.
Love it.
Um, and I got a feeling I know what your number one's going to be.
I don't know.
Okay, well, because you and I have talked about the Neverending Story one before in previous shows,
Well,
and that is that's another mute, but I didn't put it on the list because we talked about how much first of all, you and I both have a love for the Neverending Story, and then to them do the Neverending Story theme song in the show was like,
ah,
did you hear, man? Did you listen to the Chris and Amanda show and get the idea?
so we absolutely loved that song so much. Chose it. It was a freebie for our Chris and Amanda Goes to the Movies show because
Hmm.
we just had to throw that one out, or well, we included it, but it wasn't on our list because it was so great. So I did not add that to my list this time because I feel like we've already had
Right, we discussed it, yeah.
yes, but let's just talk about that scene
Let's just talk about that scene
and
because
how brilliant, again, they use the never-ending story song.
I go back and watch that clip on
Yes,
YouTube because it's like and we've done extensive like we
yes.
did breakdowns of the original video, that we found out there were two versions of the video, like the hair flip thing and the whole like it's like we have done a lot of talking about the never ending story song and the movie
Absolutely.
on the core. If you've listened to this show since day one, you know that it's come up. And I'm pretty sure we've got videos online and all that stuff
We
talk.
do.
But like that scene is awesome.
It's so great. So just
Chuck, I can't wait till
youthful.
you get to that. And Mark, I
Oh,
can't wait till you get to that.
oh my gosh. If you are a product of the 80s at all, you'll appreciate that. And something similar happened to that song that is happening with Kate Bush's, where
Yes.
that charted significantly very well. I think it did hit number 1, like, that weekend. It probably isn't as long
It
term as Kate Bush's, but
definitely it definitely came back to life, that's for sure. And once again,
absolutely.
I think also had the same effect where a lot of people discovered
Yeah,
the Neverending Story who had never heard about it before, like a whole new
yes,
generation. Like that was a movie we grew up on and like was kind of a when parents have watched it with their children and stuff like that.
yeah,
But like I think it just brought a whole new audience to like that kind of that fantasy
absolutely.
movie, which for me, so influential.
Super influential. So I just love that song, but with that being said, it wasn't my
Was
on my
not your
list.
number one.
Was not on my list as number 1, but the song that was and this was hard just because there were some other songs that I possibly could have chose, but maybe we have already talked about them very heavy on the show already in the past,
Mhm.
so I disqualified any of those. But I have down Material Girl by the queen who's yet to make it on our show at this point, Miss Madonna.
Which is shocking.
It really, really is,
We have not I
especially
can't believe we haven't talked about Madonna on our show on any of the episodes yet.
we haven't, and she has spanned over so many decades, so it is impressive that
Yeah.
she hasn't made it to our list, but today she has, and she is on my list as my number 1 Material Girl, and I love mall scenes. I am a mall scene person. I have good memories mall
Yeah.
shopping, walking around with my friends. In fact, I took Owen to the mall just this past Saturday. He wanted to get some shoes, and
Right.
we have one mall that is pretty decent around me that still has stores, and it our other mall is like a ghost town. And as I was walking around, I just felt like so fun. I felt like I was eh, taking my son and like passing like the torch of like, it's your time.
It's your time. It's your turn to be a mall rat.
It's your time. And I was like, hey, do you want me to bring a friend with you so you guys can walk around and I'll just like be at the food court? And he's like, No.
Yeah, you're like,
And
"Why would I hang out at the mall?"
yeah. And the torch that I had lit to pass on to him just went away.
Quickly extinguished. He's like,
Quickly
"Why
extinguished.
do I why would I wanna hang out at the mall?" You're like, "What do you mean? That's where everything's happening. Like,
What do you mean?
how are you gonna find out what's going on if you don't hang out at the mall?" Like,
No.
I'll never know what everybody else is up to if I don't hang out at the mall.
I know. How do you know what an outfit looks like if you don't see it on somebody walking around at the mall?
What about the arcade and the
Oh
movie theaters?
my gosh. The arcade, yes. We had a good one growing up.
Yeah.
Well, in my head, I thought it was a good one. It probably was not, but, I
If it
would
was an arcade, it was good. I mean, come on. I
right?
mean, as long as they had the right games, it was good. Like,
So much fun.
you know, I
It
I was such a mall rat.
and just incidentally, our arcade growing up was located right next to the Taco Bell.
Wow.
So Amanda had her spot.
Yeah, you did have your spot. You had your spot. The mall and Taco Bell.
The
The
mall and
arcade,
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Wait, so was the Taco Bell inside the mall or
It
was it like
was.
outside, like so you had to walk across like it was like
It
in the
was inside.
the weird adjunct mall?
No, this one was right we had a not a cool food court like, Stranger Thing food court, but we had a pretty decent one.
We had a really good food court. So I used to hang out. So growing up, So wait, before we get into the mall talk. So just to let everybody know, so season 3 of Stranger Things, like everybody, and once again, no spoilers here. The predominant, I mean, it's in the trailer for that
Absolutely.
season. It's
Yes.
heavily featured. Is a
Yep.
new mall opens up in Hawkins, Indiana, and let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. It takes you right back, especially our age. Speaking to all you 40s and up, it takes us right back to like those days when we hung out at the mall
Mhm.
and all the stores. Like they did such a great job, like being super nostalgic about the logos and
So
stores and
good.
the fashion. It was amazing. And I totally brought me right back to hanging out at like I used to hang out at the Willowbrook Mall. That was like my huge stomping grounds for the longest time. And then when I moved out west, the Rockaway Mall, which was not nearly as impressive as the Willowbrook Mall. The
Sure.
Willowbrook Mall was massive. Rockaway Mall was like the little brother to like, and it was west, so it was like weird. It's like Rockaway. Who goes to Rockaway? Like Rockaway Mall. Like what the heck is that? Like, you know, the Willowbrook Wall, like that's where you go. But they used to have a huge arcade there, fun and games, and that was like the epicenter of my childhood.
So great.
I probably blew enough money in there I probably could have owned fun and games.
I I was watching, a show with Owen yesterday, and he showed me something. I said, "Oh, that makes me think of pinball," but I could not think of the term
Right.
pinball. And I go, "You know
Mhm.
the thing that you do the things and the things?" Like,
Yeah,
and it's got the ball, and I it was so bad, and so I was never good at pinball, but boy,
yeah.
did I put those tokens in there anyway,
You
and
did it. You
I
just
did
did
it.
it.
I did it. I was not very good. Man, I wish malls could make a good comeback, and I but if my son hates them, I guess why would they if the newer generation doesn't seem to be interested in them?
They just don't. They don't. They just don't. I
They
don't
don't
know.
they don't
But I wish they
understand the
would because
finer
it is great.
things.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah,
It
right.
it was just safe
It's a different
fun.
time. It was a different time.
It was a
And
different time.
and this is when we just lost all the younger listeners to this program. They're like, "We have no
Wow.
idea what you guys are talking about."
Let's go to the mall.
Let's go to the mall. They're like, "Who goes to the mall?" Yeah, food court. I go there for the food, and then and quick shopping, and then that's it. I'm out. I'm not
To get
hanging
what I
out at the
need,
mall.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then
I get what
leave.
I need. I'm out. No, there's no Orange Julius anymore.
No, I know, and a lot of times the people will come into, like, the entrance of the store they're going
Yeah,
into and just leave. You know, they
like
don't even browse.
they don't. They don't. Like I remember going to Sam Goody to like buy
Oh my
CDs
gosh.
all the time because that was it. It was like Sam Goody, and I would buy the CDs there because well, this is a music based show, so I'll bring it
Yeah,
back to music. But yeah, I used to go to Sam Goody all the time. I used to drop tons of money like buying CDs and everything until I then discovered like, oh, I can actually go to a record store here and there and like start
sure.
getting like going to like these smaller like specialized stores. But
Yeah.
man, I spent enough money on CDs. I could have bought Sam Goody.
Okay. I remember that makes me think our Meijer, our grocery store, I don't frequently shop at it, it's just a little bit further away, but when I was closer to it, they had a ginormous section dedicated to CDs,
Uh-huh.
and it's now the medicine area.
That's where you bought all your music.
Yes, I mean, remember waiting for the day for it to come out because you couldn't just download it on your phone and play it. You
Wait, what?
actually had to, like, wait for it to come out and go to the store and buy it that day.
Yes. Yes, kids.
There was a
Yeah,
process to loving music.
there was a process to loving you. You had to work to find your music and you had to it cost money, a lot more money than it
Yeah,
does now to
yes.
buy your music.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness,
yeah.
those were gosh, life is easier in a lot of ways. It's more complicated, but ooh,
But
to have it at
yeah.
our fingertips. But
Yeah,
there
it's
was
crazy.
something fun in the hunt.
There was a definite fun to the hunt for sure. That's 100%. There was a definitely
Yeah.
thrill of going in, digging, finding what you want, or you
Mhm.
walking into the store and you see the display of
Yes,
that new record, and you're like,
yes.
"There's so many of them. I want
It
to buy them all. I only need one, but it looks so
it's so
cool. Like the
great.
whole store, like the whole front display is like that record is out. Like amazing, so much
Oh,
fun.
you've never worked in a, like, music store?
No,
That fascinates me.
I know, right? I should have, but I didn't. I never did.
Watch, Chris in 5 years is gonna own the
It's my
only
dream.
surviving music stores left in the United States of America.
My dream is to still own a record store, so it's
Hey,
there.
it's gonna happen.
Yes.
You heard it here. Go start a GoFundMe page, Chris Baglio,
Yes,
and
for my
our
record store.
supporters will
Yeah.
help support your record store dream.
It's record store / Chris and Amanda studio.
Bingo.
Coming to you live from the Chris and Amanda studios at Chris's Records, whatever.
I love it.
So let's just get. I know we diverged a little bit, but I want to get back
We
to the
do.
music of Stranger Things. So, um, good pick once again. I like that pick.
Yeah.
I think that's a great pick. The Madonna song, and it is during that one of my. I will probably say, I think that season 3 might be my favorite season of the show.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, Obviously we just talked all about this mall stuff, waxing
Yeah.
nostalgia about all that, but really it was a
Mhm.
lot of fun. And it was like, and a lot of stuff went down in that show. Once
Yeah.
again, no spoilers,
Yep.
but it is definitely a very pivotal season in the show. And I love how when we first get introduced to the kids, the show is growing up with them, obviously. So I think the show does a really good job of like, what kids go through as they get a little bit older and starting to how to,
Mhm.
deal with things and feelings and, finding their way in this world. And especially when you think about like where they are, they're in Hawkins, Indiana. They're in Hawkins, Indiana. And it's like having a mall put in the middle of Hawkins, Indiana has got to be like, the cool I feel like it's in the middle of nowhere, Hawkins, Indiana. It
Agreed.
has to be. It's the Midwest, like middle of nowhere Midwest, I feel like,
Yeah,
and which is probably why all this crazy stuff goes on there and they can get away with so much.
absolutely.
But then they had to put this giant mall in there. It must have been like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. So
It
I
is, and
could
I like
respect that.
but they really respected, like, what putting in a mall would do to a small community too,
Mhm.
and the effects
Right.
of that, and I thought that was done very tastefully. Just I love that a newspaper is included, because that's
Yeah.
kind of a nostalgic thing now. I mean,
Yep.
newspapers still exist, but
Newspapers do still exist. Yeah.
it's not at the same level as it was in the '80s or
Mhm.
'90s. It's just great. People can make $1 billion off of nostalgia, and I hope
Mhm.
more people follow suit because I'll walk down that memory lane with you. Yes, I will.
Absolutely. I'm such a sucker for this stuff.
Yeah.
The show just once again, it just is like everything that I love. The only
Mhm.
thing that they have a heavily feature in the show, which I never really got way into, which I know I know tons of my friends were actually into. I just never got into it, which was Dungeons and Dragons.
Me too.
And it's a reoccurring theme throughout the entire series.
Yes.
And it's the thing that really holds the group of friends together, and even plays a little bit of role plays a role in this season as always.
Yeah.
And but I was never a big Dungeons and Dragons fan, but I listened to a lot of the music associated with Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I think being a girl, even though obviously some girls play it in the show, I don't think I mean, it was kinda more like mall madness, for
Yeah,
me. But I never really got into Dungeons& and Dragons, and Marcus played it a little bit growing up, and, I said, "How do you even play it?" And he's like, "Basically, it's story like, you create the storylines." And so,
yeah,
it is very relevant to Stranger Things, and it's crazy how big of a blueprint it
yeah.
literally plays for the show. And so I would wonder if the producers actually heavily played that as kids, like, as much as the kids in the show play it.
They have talked about it that they were Dungeons and Dragons fans and that they did play. And I think that, but
Yeah.
it is very if you play Dungeons and Dragons, and yes, it is. It's like choose your own adventure. It's all storytelling, and you roll dice to figure out the next moves or your decision that has to be made within the story. And it's very much like the show. It's like a mirror of the show,
How
which I find it
fantastic.
funny that the upside down and all that stuff, and they're kind of named after they always name them after Dungeons and Dragons villain. It's like all the parallels are there, so it's very very cool to get into. And even if you're not into which I once
Mhm,
again I didn't play Dungeons and Dragons, but I had plenty of friends who did.
mhm.
And I love that they've made it that this is what this group of friends is like. It's still this bond that they have as
Yeah,
they've gotten older throughout the show, that Dungeons and Dragons is still a part of their lives.
And I would put money that Dungeons and Dragons had a significant comeback because of the show as well.
Probably. Or a big sponsorship, one or the other.
That's true.
We will fund Stranger Things if you continue to mention Dungeons and Dragons and keep these guys playing Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah,
So great, so
it's
great.
so great.
It's
Well, go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
No, no, finish your thought. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, again, just recapping how hard it was to even put only 3 on our list. We could really literally talk about every single song and have
Oh,
a story behind
yeah.
every single beautiful piece of music they implemented into the show. Just well done. We're
Yeah.
such fans of Stranger Things. We're not afraid to say that out loud.
Nope, not at all. And that's the thing too, like on Spotify and like this link that I'll put into the notes here, like just even if you haven't watched a show, just listening to the soundtracks and
Mm,
the playlists from the episodes is awesome. It's got music pretty much from all the different generations, from the 80s, obviously. And it's so much fun to listen to. And I love that score. So if you're a fan of like,
so good.
that John Carpenter 80s like dark wave, synth wave kind of stuff. Just the score alone by Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein will have you like totally into it. And then mix in like songs like, I mean, just going off of episode 1, and I'm just gonna read the song. So the
Sure.
episode 1 of season 4, you've got California Dreamin' by Mamas and the Papas. You've got Object of My Desire by Starpoint. You've got The Red Army is the Strongest by Red Army Choir. Of course, Running Up That Hill, Deal with God by Kate Bush, which is like the huge just type that into Google right now
Oh,
and you're gonna pages and pages of this.
pages.
And this is what I love too. I'm a big Cramps fan. So I love that there were 2 Cramps songs in here. I was a teenage werewolf in Fever. So if you love the Cramps and that rockabilly, like, and they're just great. I love the Cramps. 2 songs in this episode. You've got Play With Me by Extreme, so go into like more like 80s hard rock, which is great. Detroit Rock City by Kiss. So I mean, this is just episode 1
It
of
is
season 4.
And it's a long to your point earlier, they're long episodes, so
They are.
it's not like it's just music after music after music, like, they're so tactfully played within the perfect
Yeah.
opportunity. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. I love it. They do a really, really good job. So, but once again, we would love to hear from you, right? Let us know. Obviously, if you're not watching live right now, but you could still participate in the show. We really want you to participate in the show. And we love featuring people who call in or leave us messages. So if you want to call in and let us know what your favorite Stranger Things songs are, what you think of the show, what your favorite episodes are, favorite characters, anything Stranger Things. Of course, this is a music-based show, so we'd love to know what some of your favorite songs have been. Call us and leave us a voicemail +1 973 506 8009. That's +1 973 506 8009, and we will play your message on our next show. Because I got a feeling our next episode is going to wind up being a recap or something of like what we just thought. Like, and here's some more songs that we really like. I mean, this could easily turn into like, let's just talk about Stranger Things for seasons 1 through
Oh my
4
gosh,
and this
yes.
season in particular. But um, we only have to start a
Yeah,
sidebar show, or do like
it's a whole new podcast.
a panel with all our friends and talk about Stranger Things.
For
But
sure.
yes, we would absolutely love to hear from you. So feel free to do that. Once again, call +1 973 506 8009 and let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Also, before we wrap things up, do want to say thank you once again to our show sponsor, Ironic Media. Make sure you use the links in the show notes and the video description below. Go over to ironicmedia.com or visit him on IG at Mark Ronick or on Clubhouse, where he runs a room every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. Eastern to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Empowered Podcasting Club. Mark Ronick, find him there on Clubhouse. Connect with him. We are usually there. If you want to hang out with Chris and Amanda, we're usually in that room. So come chill out with us, and make sure you head over to ironicmedia.com and book a free discovery session with Mr. Mark Ronick. he can help you. He can help you. If you're a podcaster, he can help you 100%.
And we do have a lot of podcasters who listen to our show. So
We do.
this is a really good opportunity for them to reach out and
Mhm.
just use his expertise because it's there.
It is there. It is there. And, if you like what you heard on our show today and you want to support us somehow, some way, out of the kindness of your heart, because it does, there is a financial a cost with bringing
There
you
is.
the show. Head over to our buymeacoffee.com/TCAS and feel free to select a level of your choice to give us a hand. It helps us out. All the little bits help. You can also, if you want to commission your own episode of the show, you can also do that at the same place. Go over to buymeacoffee.com. All the links, once again, are in the show notes and video description below. We have merch for sale too over at the chrisandamandashow.com. Feel free to head over there. And last but not least, if you would like to become a sponsor like Ironic Media, email us at the chrisandamandashow@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to discuss our sponsorship levels and opportunities for you to become a part of the show.
Absolutely. And I want to just include they're all very affordable options. So don't think that it's out of your price range because I assure you it is not. Send us a message.
Absolutely. And make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe to the show wherever you're watching or listening to this. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, if you're on Facebook, or wherever you're, make sure you hit that like button. Follow us wherever you're listening to this. If you're listening to the replay, the audio version of this, please hit that follow button so that way you get notified every single time a new episode is dropped. Like this one, we're here live on Mondays, 8:15 a.m. almost every Monday. We took last Monday off. We're about to go on another run until our vacations in July. So make
Absolutely.
sure you do not miss an episode of the Chris and Amanda Show. And if there's anything you'd like for us to discuss or anything like that, we'd love to hear from you
Absolutely.
too. So drop us a note, leave us a voicemail.
Yes, please leave us a voicemail.
Yes. And Amanda, I feel like you and I could go on and on and on about the
You
music of
could.
Stranger Things. There's so many good songs. And this was just a smattering of some of the songs that I feel like that have just, like I said, taken on a whole new life for me,
Absolutely.
or just like incredible placement in the show overall. So
And
uh
I think we can confidently say we don't dislike any of the songs that have been put in Stranger Things.
no, not at all. Like, and
So,
even some of the songs have taken on a little bit of a different meaning now. Like
yeah.
in season 4, we've got the brutal roller skating scene, the roller rink, and like songs like Wipeout now I'm like, it makes me angry.
Does. Yes, even wipeouts in this, they're so phenomenally great at picking
Yeah.
songs.
But that roller rink is like, this is like every roller rink I was ever at when I was a kid, with all the same music and all the same idiot kids.
Yeah, all the idiot kids. You just gotta be faster than the idiot kids.
Yeah, which I never was.
Poor Chris. No, honest, growing up was so much fun.
It was great.
It was great. Really like where I am in life now, though.
We got the show, and the show's great.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Great show. I'm so glad we were able to speak our piece on the amazing music of
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
And I'm sure we'll be doing another part 2 to this at some point,
Absolutely.
as things unfold. We still have another second half of
Yes.
season 4 starting on July 1st. And it's basically like 2 feature-length episodes or feature-length films. So really looking forward to that. So I'm sure we'll have more to say. I can't wait to see what kind of music they feature
Yes.
in that second part of the season. I'm just excited. So if
Agreed.
you haven't started watching Stranger Things, I do say go watch it.
Mhm.
It is fun, fun, fun.
Yep. Mark and Chuck gets binge watching.
That's right. Get the binge watching so that way we can spoil. No, I'm just kidding. We'll never spoil. I know there's more than just Mark and Chuck that listen to the show.
They're the only ones who admitted in the flesh that they
Yeah.
haven't seen it all.
Correct. Exactly.
Got
So,
to.
all right, everyone. Well, thank you again for watching. Thank you for all who are going to watch the replay of this or listen to it. We appreciate you and appreciate your support. Make sure you come back and hang out with us live on Mondays at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be here next Monday for a all new episode of the Chris and Amanda Show. I need that like reverb.
So fun.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good week.